want that to be
that.
the Joey one.
Okay, so that's yours
That's
officially?
the Joey one.
Mine forever will be the Fresh Chicavinos. That is my favorite thing.
That one, I watched that one probably 10,000 times at this point.
I gotta watch it every day just to get
funny.
high in the morning, you know? It's what gets me straight. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Kind of Funny Morning Show today. My name is Nick Scarpino. With me today is Joey Noel, co-hosting. Thank you so much. If you guys did not know, this show comes to you each and every day here on twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, during which we go over the news. We talk about some of the cool stories. We're going to talk about some fun movies today that I've discovered on Netflix, and we will also be giving our spoiler-free and spoiler-ish impressions of the Cloverfield Paradox, because both Joey and I have seen it, and I desperately want to talk to someone about that. Yeah. Do not worry, though, we will put the spoiler banner up, so if anyone's watching live, you'll have fair warning. Of course, if you guys can't watch this live, and because you're always on the go and you've got things to do, you got a family, you got kids to feed, you got places to be, well, we put this up on YouTube around 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time every day as well, so you can go over there, join in the conversation in the comments below. Thank you to all who have been doing that. It's really awesome to see that conversation continued, and I love responding to it, as does Joey, so that'll be fun today. And of course, if you can't do that, well, there's no excuses. We put it out on iTunes as well. So if you're listening to my words right now and you have no idea what I look like, Google me. You know? Just Google me.
Start your day or end your day with a nice Google of Nick Scarpino.
Come on, guys.
Will you maybe find pictures of Nick without a beard?
Yeah, you can easily find pictures of me. And I quote, Joey saw a picture of me on my driver's license the other day. I think it was my driver. Oh no, what? Maybe it was
someone
Jen.
just had a picture of. Oh no, it was I didn't.
Somebody had a picture of me without a beard, and I quote. Joey went, "Ew."
I don't think I said ew.
Ew.
Though I do want to see what current you looks like without a beard, which I don't think will ever happen.
Probably so. No, I don't think so. I really like having a beard for two reasons. One, it clearly distinguishes me amongst the group of guys that we have working here.
Yeah, because
no one else has a beard.
No
one else is a white dude with a beard that's kind of scraggly and is semi out of shape.
There's nothing scraggly about your beard, and you know it.
Thank you, Kevin. I appreciate that.
You do have the best beard, though. I will give you that.
Thank you. I have a beard guy. Two, it is way easier to have a beard than not have a beard. Now, as a guy,
less maintenance.
Oh my God, I hated shaving.
Yeah.
I've never been one of those guys who can shave over and over again without getting a tremendous amount of like razor burn. So I would always let the 5 o'clock shadow grow in and always look a bit, some would say rugged, others would say dirty.
Got it.
And so once I grew the beard out, I was like, oh, this is man's natural state. This is what God wanted us to be.
Do you use a beard oil?
No, I don't need to.
No.
I'm Italian, so I have natural skin oils that come out in my beard.
Got it. Because there seems to be like a whole beard grooming
there definitely
industry
is.
now.
Yeah, Yusuf uses a beard oil because he's got that thicker beard.
Really
he's got that really rugged, full beard. Mine just is a little. It just kind of goes where it wants to go. It's like the Wolverine of beards. You know, it's really good at what it wants to do. Ladies and gentlemen, today's episode of the Kind of Funny Morning Show is brought to you by kindoffunny.com/store, where you can get the shirt I am currently wearing. Which is the Kind of Funny Games daily tee in a heathered black. It's a very, very cool shirt.
I like the heathered black.
I do too. We got to make more things out of this.
We do.
These top 3 items right here are my three favorites right now. I don't like to pick favorites amongst all of my children, but these are my favorite 3 so far, right now.
I didn't realize we went up to 4XL.
I didn't know that either. There's lots of things we don't know about our merch store. They like to keep us guessing, and that's what I love about them.
That's a big surprise.
Keep us on our toes, man.
They do.
All of these are back in stock now.
These are back in stock, which is great.
One of these hoodies.
Have we always had double XL on these guys?
I think so, yeah. I think we've gone up to double. The 4XL is surprising, but it's not alarming though. But it is surprising. Of course, we still have this kind of casual shirt that I really, really love. There's all that stuff. Yeah. Go over there, check that out. You guys know the rigmarole. Today, a couple
$7.19.
Yeah, we're trying to get rid of that stock. We've had that shirt on there for a while, so for the love of God, please, if you want that shirt, just go over and get it. It is dirt cheap, as is the weird Trevor Halloween shirt that we're still selling.
You have to want it in small, though.
Well, you have to really want that shirt then. Here's what I say you do. If you're a large, get it in small, dunk it in water, stretch it out. So I watched Boogie Nights last night.
Great movie.
With Philip Seymour Hoffman. It's a great, I know it's random, but
was it a Philip Seymour Hoffman night last night? Because I fell asleep watching Almost Famous.
Oh, no. But he was great in that. No, last night, well, we're skipping ahead here. I will tell you what last night was, and I want to recommend a couple movies to everyone if you haven't seen them. They're 2 really good movies on Netflix. Before I get into that, of course, The Avengers. We're doing MCU in review. Our Avengers discussion is live right now. Did we pick this as number 1? Is it the top superhero movie to date ever made? Well, you'll have to go watch that.
We certainly haven't made that last decision.
You'll have to go watch that. How did Loki re-rank in the Ragu Bagu bad guy rankings? That's Rad Guys on Bad Guys. You'll have to go and see. But this was actually a really good discussion. Again, it's just super fun watching these movies.
Yeah.
Going back and watch them again. So that's good. You got to remind me to pick Snowbike Mike at some point. Thank you for that. I don't think it's up yet. Let me check. We got to go over to my Twitch. As you guys know, if you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free Twitch Prime subscription. And this month, I've decided I'm going to give that to Snowbike Mike. Hold on. Snowbike. Is he spelled with a Z? No, okay, it's right there.
It's that one.
Hold on, okay. And let's see if I can subscribe to Not yet.
Not yet.
Damn it. Every day, Snowbike Mike.
We're going to check every day.
Is another opportunity to support you. Now, Greg gave him actual money, which I say is lunacy. That's just lunacy. The whole point is
you're supposed to pay it forward with
you pay it forward, Greg. Well, Greg has the patience
his
of a small child and just wants what he wants when he wants it, and that's what he does.
This is true.
That's how it goes. Couple of things. So last night, the wife and I looking for something to watch, right?
Yeah.
We finished Cloverfield Paradox, which I want to talk to you about. You finished that too. Yes. That's going to be our deep dive topic after we get into some news. We're going to talk about that. I want to have a very candid discussion with you on it.
Okay.
Kevin, if you haven't watched it, close your ears.
I haven't watched it. It's unfortunate.
It's unfortunate. You'll have to close your ears.
Yeah.
You can swap it out with Cool Greg, because I'm pretty sure Cool Greg, when I talk to him, he has this internal filter, which is,
so you guys are going to go full spoilers on this?
I want to go full spoilers on it,
okay with that.
I'd like to have a full spoiler discussion on it. We'll go spoiler-free for the first 5 minutes. That's later.
Yeah.
Watch that. And but the wife was like, hey, I've got, I could tell she had another hour left before she was going to get like a little tired.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I'll put on this other movie. Now, a long time ago, actually, Kevin.
I'll show you the other one.
Yeah, show me the other one first. A long time ago, I watched this, right? This is a documentary that's on Netflix right now called Drunk, Stoned, Brilliant, and Dead, the story of the National Lampoon. Now, if you're not familiar with National Lampoon,
interesting.
A lot of people's touchstone for National Lampoon, especially of our generations, are the movies, right?
Yeah.
National Lampoon's Vacation, the Vacation series, of course, great.
So good.
They were
Animal House?
Animal House, they were responsible for Animal House. They were responsible for making Caddyshack.
Oh, really?
There was a lot.
Even though that's not, is it tagged as National Lampoon's
No,
Caddyshack?
it's not a National Lampoon's Caddyshack, but the creative team that came out of National Lampoon. This is why the story's so fascinating. So, great documentary.
Van Wilder?
Highly recommend it.
That's right, they did do
it. Actually, it features all of the people that came from the Lampoons. And a lot of people, if you don't know this, the Lampoon was a nationally publicated magazine that was very, very popular. It was a crazy comedy magazine, very satire.
It's like Mad TV-ish?
Out of that, kind of Mad TV-ish, kind of Mad Magazine-ish, actually, but more like politically inspired. I mean, they made some covers that were completely outlandish, completely ridiculous, and got sued by everyone under the sun. But what they also did was they started a radio show. So they had the National Lampoon's Radio Hour, which they cast out of one of the local improv troops, a bunch of unknown people that not a lot of people knew about, namely John Belushi, Gilda Radner, Bill Murray, Harold Ramis, Christopher Guest, and Chevy Chase.
Yeah.
So a bunch of no names at the time.
Never done anything since, right?
They decided to put them, of course, and they did some other stuff in there, and they had a band, and they had a live show, and they had all these things, and then that became the precursor to when NBC needed to fill an hour on Saturday night. Lorne Michaels coming in and kind of poaching all that talent and making Saturday Night Live. So it's a really, really cool story.
That sounds really interesting.
Very, very, very interesting. A lot of things that I did not know about, because again, my touchstone was only like, I had seen National Lampoon's Vacation, but I really didn't know what the publication was. I had no idea the lineage of it. I didn't know who the founders were or anything like that. Interestingly enough, after you've watched this, Kevin, go to the next one. I started watching this last night, which is a narrative retelling of it called A Futile and Stupid Gesture, starring Will Forte and the guy that played Hux in Star Wars, who does an amazing American accent, proving once again that Brits can do American accents way better than Americans can do British accents. This is really good. It's really funny, and it's an interesting, really satirical, sort of tongue-in-cheek retelling of the story.
Do you recommend that people watch the other one first and then this, so they have context?
No, I think maybe watch this first and then go back and watch the other one, because the other one features like interviews with Chevy Chase and a bunch of people.
Yeah.
It's really, really cool. Anyway, it was just an era that I really don't have a lot of. I don't have a lot of eyes on, because I was obviously like 1 year old when all this shit was happening. So it's pretty cool to see this go back. It's very nostalgic.
Oh.
Anyway, let's see
I will add that to my endless list of Netflix,
things to watch.
Hulu, Amazon Prime movies.
There's so much good stuff to watch. You know, and it's funny because I've never been especially a huge fan of Will Forte. Never been like, I'm not a detractor from him in any way, shape, or the imagination. But I've never watched anything with Will Forte and gone, oh man, this is a standout performance from him. He's just never, like MacGruber was a little too overdone for me. He's always great, I think, as a secondary character.
Agreed.
But this is the first time I remember, like I watched it, and his delivery as the Doug Kenny character, who was one of the founding members of, or the two founders of the National Lampoon, it's just really, really good. And Hux is great too.
Yeah.
And he, you know, just when I thought, hey, I don't want any more of anyone that had to do with, that movie that shall not be named. He brings it right back. He brings it right back.
Nice. Love it, love it.
Steed Jonat says, there's no such thing as a British accent. I can find half a dozen with 6 phone numbers, LOL. I don't know what that means, but there is such thing as a British accent. Because it sounds like London. That's what it sounds like.
You nailed it, Nick. That's it.
Fuck yeah, I
nailed it.
I
was not expecting you to go into that.
No.
No one ever...
You sound like you're from England.
There it is.
I put London and England together and got Lingland. That's what happens when you can't... Slay J87 says Last Man on Earth is amazing, Nick. Again, Will Forte has just never been my guy until he's like, everything has to come to you at the right time. And I think I'm entering into an unprecedented era in my life called the Will Forte era now.
Wow.
And I might have to go deep down the line
era named after
and go back.
That's impressive.
Similar to how when I watched Anchorman for the first time, I was like, I don't know about this Will Ferrell guy. Right?
Really?
Then I go back, I watch Zoolander, I'm like, he's pretty funny. You go back and watch Anchorman again, you're like, I'm ready for Will Ferrell to come into my life.
You just need to be eased into the...
You got to ease into it. It has to find you. Just like when I was a young child driving around in my Jetta VR6, and I heard a song come on the radio, and I was like, what is that song? And I went into a Virgin Megastore, and I sang it to the guy over the counter, and he said, sir, stop right there. That's Led Zeppelin's Immigrant Song. You're a fucking idiot. Go get Led Zeppelin, like a compilation of Led Zeppelin, it's right over there. And I did. But I wasn't ready for it until that day.
I was so sure you were going to be singing Van Halen's Panama.
No, my brother was actually a huge Van Halen fan, and so I was exposed to Van Halen's Panama from a young age. As you know, you always heard like the top level, the ones that broke through the mainstream with Van Halen, AC/DC, Back in Black, all those things, right? But it's not until you see one Iron Man where you're like, I got to go back and listen to more AC/DC because AC/DC is arguably one of the greatest rock bands ever.
I don't think too many people are going to argue with you on that.
Not too many. They're definitely one of the most prolific bands for sure. I watched a documentary on them. I'm like, damn, they've been fucking just going
forever.
I think they're losing members left and right, but they're still going. They just plug in Axl Rose and keep going. It's wild.
Bring 'em in.
All right, let's talk about a few things in the news today. Of course, if you guys don't follow Ryan Reynolds on Twitter, you're missing out on just a dearth of great things. Kevin pulled this up. God bless the team that's making Deadpool 2. If you're not familiar with this is a direct parody of the Flashdance poster, which you have to imagine they had a conversation in the whatever room is responsible for making these posters. Yeah. And someone's like, what if we aped Flashdance? And the other 10 people around the table were probably like, what's Flashdance? But Ryan Reynolds, being as probably old as me, was probably like, oh, everyone will remember this. And you know what? You got me, Ryan Reynolds. I just watched Flashdance for the first time in years, about a month and a half ago.
Did it hold up? No.
It's weird.
I feel like it has good scenes, but as a movie overall, it's like,
watching it, obviously every movie is a sign of its time. Yeah. Right? And it's somewhat unfair to go back and judge a movie based off of what the current political and social climate is right now. That's true. Having said that, it's a little like I'm watching Entourage as well, and I'm like, oh wow, this show could not exist right now. There is no fucking way you make a show about Hollywood, a bunch of white dudes in Hollywood going around and just chasing girls and treating them like total shit. That would not fly right now. Entourage was so
good when it was on.
It was, but go back and watch it. And it's very tone deaf as far as now. Again, you have to judge it based on when it was. That was 10 years ago. Yada yada yada. Flashdance is another one like that, where it's literally about a 19-year-old girl whose 36-year-old boss starts hitting on her, and then they start an affair, and it's like this weird thing where she's still working for him, but he's helping her out, and he's driving around the Porsche, and it's a little like, it's a little skeezy.
Maybe we don't do this.
As a 38-year-old man, I'm like, I don't know if I'd go 19 if I had it to do over again. 23 is my hard stop. Hard stop.
Is that
she
like
might not have been 19. Chat, let me know if she was 19 or not.
Is the 23 a moving target based on your age, or is it just like a solid 23?
No, 23 is just kind of where the reset point is for a lot of guys thinking to get divorced. Not that I am. But I just think it's always good to have a second. It's not. I'm not saying. I know.
It's just a backup plan.
We're solid. I'm just saying, always good to have. You know, when you're at work, sometimes it's good to float your resume out there and just see what where your value is in the market.
Yeah.
I
got off value 2030.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell I'm talking about there. So that's cool.
Nick.
What's that, Kev?
I said no one does.
No. I think the cold medicine just kicked in. I'm not. For a second there, I was like, "What are we doing right now?" And then I looked over and I saw the camera, and I was like, "Oh, there's people watching this right now." Let's go to this next news story. I thought this was pretty cool. Of course, as you guys know, I was a huge fan of Blade Runner 2049, so it's interesting to watch Denis Villeneuve basically say, "I will never make that movie again." 4 months after the release of Blade Runner 2049, director Denis Villeneuve is still weighing in on his critically acclaimed sequel. The movie was a box office bomb in the United States, failing to cross a $100 million mark despite a production marketing budget that many estimated to be over $300 million. The story goes on also to say Nick Scarpino from Kind of Funny did his part to promote the movie, but nobody listens to him because, quote, nobody likes the incessant rambling of an old man. The project is said to have cost Alcon Entertainment at least $80 million, and it's not something Villeneuve is necessarily happy about. In an interview with The Telegraph, Villeneuve admits that he'll probably never make a movie like Blade Runner 2049 again after it proved to be such a financial risk. The director is incredibly proud of the film, which he should be, which has earned 5 Oscar nominations, but he remembers realizing what a challenging release it would be when a producer turned to him 4 months into production and told him, quote, "We've just made the most expensive art house movie in cinema history." Quote, "Let's just say it would not be a good idea for me to make a movie like that twice," Villeneuve said, referring to making a studio-funded tentpole with more avant-garde leanings. Quote, "When you're working on a film, you're in a bubble, and it was only when I came out of that I realized we made a monster. I won't do it again." I think what he's saying here is, look, I got the opportunity to make this amazing thing. I'm super proud of this amazing thing, but I recognize that if I make this thing again and it tanks again, so does my career.
Yeah.
I am done.
This was a one-time shot I had at this. And
I would go as far as to say, though, that Arrival was a little bit more avant-garde than Blade Runner 2049. It might have, I mean, we're dealing with different things happening on the timeline. We're dealing with interstellar travel. We're dealing with a lot of different things here.
And at least Blade Runner had that like tie-in to a series.
Yeah, so we had a lineage that he had not started that he was just continuing. I think there's a lot of avant-garde notions in it, but I wouldn't call it an art house film. I would call it a cerebral, deep-cut sci-fi film, which is probably just the same way of saying art house film. How dare you? This
genre of art house film is essentially what you just said.
Kudos to him and kudos to who was it that put that up? Paramount? No, I forget who put that up.
Warner Brothers?
What is Warner?
Yeah.
To Warner for putting that out. I think they knew it was going to be a risk, and I think they took that risk, and that's good.
Yeah.
And I think they need to do more of that. Because if we don't have Blade Runners, there's no reason to keep going back to the movies.
True. I didn't realize that it didn't do that well on that scale of their production.
Well, it goes along to say it actually made up a lot of the money in Europe, which is good. Villeneuve originally told Vulture. Let's see. Despite the movie's failure to catch on with U.S. audiences, 2049 managed to pass the 150 million mark at the international box office, giving the film a final international gross of 259 million. Villeneuve joked that to the Telegraph, "Europe saved my ass." I think it ended up, I don't know how much it ended up grossing total, but it wasn't a knock out of the park blockbuster profit that you would expect when you spend that kind of money on.
And when you have
movie.
names like Ryan Gosling and
well, to be fair, the Goss has done art house movies before. He is an art house actor. I would go as far as to say he's done more. Behind the Pines, what was that one? Oh, well, Place Beyond the Pines. We don't talk about that. We also don't talk about Only God Forgives. But we do talk about Drive.
And we do talk about Blue Valentine.
And do we talk about Blue Valentine?
Have you ever seen it?
That movie was so sad.
I know, it like wrecks you, but I kind of like those.
We also talk about La La
movies.
Land, which a lot of people don't forget. That is an art house film.
Is it?
It's got singing in it, Joe. Yes, it's Damien Chazelle.
I just think it's super pandery to LA, which I'm totally into.
It is. That's what I love. Everyone always says that like it's a criticism. That's the point of the movie. It isn't. It is supposed to capture the romance of what you think LA is supposed to be like, and then show you the reality.
LA, and you're like, no.
And it shows you the reality of it, which is that it's a sad, sad place.
Except for they both succeed.
They do both succeed, but that's because they both
also
gave something up
to
succeed. Which in LA, you have to give up your friends and give up the fact that you're not going to be horribly addicted to some sort of white powder.
Jesus.
I don't know how LA works. I've never lived down there. Let's go into the next news story. This is not a news story. I just wanted to point everyone over here. Yesterday, we talked about a few of the spots that showed on the Super Bowl what the fuck was it, 52, 53?
52.
52.
Apparently, people are moving away from using Super Bowl and whatever number they are and just associating it with the year.
Super Bowl 2018? That's smarter.
I like that better than letters.
Well, if you go over to egan.com, you can see all of the fun, nerdrific trailers that dropped, including Solo, the Avengers spot, the Cloverfield Paradox trailer, which you don't really need to watch the trailer, you can go watch the movie right now. Thanks, Netflix. Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, Mission Impossible Fallout trailer, which I watched yesterday. Should have watched it on the show, it's dope. And another movie I'm excited about, which is Red Sparrow.
Same. Looks good.
Oh, and A Quiet Place, another movie I'm excited about.
Very excited about.
Yeah.
Is that the directorial debut of Mr. John Krasinski, do we think?
It might be. Let's look. We have the capabilities of that.
We have these cool computers. Yeah, it was funny because we were watching it at the Drake's house, and they had a really cool setup of, they had 2 TVs inside, one playing the Super Bowl, one playing the Puppy Bowl, and then they had a whole setup outside playing the Super Bowl. So we were watching it, and John was like running around like making sure that all the tech stuff was working. And then I got to that commercial and it got really quiet. He was like, oh my gosh, is the sound not working? We're like, no, it's just the movie that's silent.
That's how it works, yeah. I also like to shout out to Andrew Renee, who brought over a 3-foot-long Subway sub. And I haven't seen one of those since high school.
Yep.
I'm excited about that.
She brought over a lot of treats yesterday.
She did bring over a lot, including a sack of cheese.
Yeah.
That she goes like this. I'm like, where did you get that giant sack of queso nacho cheese? And she goes, where do you think I got a giant sack of queso nacho cheese? And I'm like, Kevin Coelho brought that.
Yeah.
Now, if you didn't see this yesterday, Kevin, maybe you can Instagram this later. It is a gallon bag of cheese
gone.
that looks
No,
like.
it's still here.
Oh, there's some of it still.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah, no. If Kevin ate all that yesterday,
Kevin and
I'd be
Jen
like, we
were
gotta
going
go pump
ham
your
on that
stomach.
nacho cheese yesterday.
going
I'm not gonna lie, I had a little bit of it too. It looked like it just is a big fat sack of nacho cheese.
Yeah, it
That's exactly
looks
what I
like
think of it.
The consistency looks gross.
Yeah,
No,
it
it's super
reminds you
good.
of the scene in Fight Club that you talked about.
It does remind me of the scene in Fight Club where they're trying to
And-
steal the rendered fat from.
She brought it down and put it down in front of me, and it looked exactly like it, and I was just like, oh
Nasty.
fuck. And then I realized what it was, and I was like, oh fuck.
You got excited. Now I remember I came around the corner when she had poured you a few bowls of this. You had a giant bowl of chips and 2 smaller bowls of one was cheese and one was salsa. And then I went back into my little office area and then I came back, they were gone.
Yeah, that's what I do
what
with food.
happens.
God bless you, Kevin. God bless us all. That's what people are saying in the chat right now. God bless chips and queso, says Turncoat. It's true. And that's it for the chat. Let's go into this next news story. Have you been following the Uma Thurman, Harvey Weinstein, Quentin Tarantino stuff?
Yeah.
So I will recap. Of course, Uma Thurman has been silent up until the holidays. She was teasing out, teasing out's probably the wrong word, but she was hinting at the fact that she was getting ready to talk about her dealings with Harvey Weinstein and how he mistreated her. This other news story kind of adds to the overall narrative. Apparently, during the filming of Kill Bill, Quentin Tarantino asked her to do a stunt in that Carmen Ghia that she was driving in, and she was not comfortable with it, said she wasn't comfortable with it. He got angry and said, we're behind schedule, you need to do this, and if you don't do it right, I'll make you do it again. She did it, the car malfunctioned, and she got into a car accident, hurting her neck and her leg. Quentin Tarantino, this story is a follow-up story to that, and said basically the circumstances of this event were negligent to the point of criminality, but she stopped sort of attributing malicious intent to the director. Quentin Tarantino has apologized for it.
I didn't see a public apology, but I also haven't really looked for it.
Let me read the story before I get off track. I always do this. I try to skip around and my brain just doesn't work. Uma Thurman has posted a video footage of the Kill Bill on-set accident that left her with severe injuries. In her Instagram post, the Oscar nominee says that, quote, the circumstances of this event were negligent to the point of criminality, but stopped short of attributing malicious intent to director Quentin Tarantino. In other words, she's not drawing a parallel between the things that were going on with Harvey Weinstein and Quentin Tarantino trying to hurt her.
Got it.
So a lot of people.
Want to watch the Instagram post?
No, I guess we could.
I'll watch it first.
Why don't you watch it? Let me know if it's.
You let us know.
Thurman also writes to the filmmaker, who has received heated criticism for his involvement in an incident, quote, was deeply regretful and remains remorseful about this sorry event, and gave me the footage years later so I could expose it and let it see the light of day, regardless of it most likely being an event for which justice will never be possible. Quote, he also did so with full knowledge it could cause him personal harm, and I am proud of him for doing the right thing for his courage, she adds. Thurman isn't so forgiving of the others involved in the, quote, cover-up that followed, however. She says she holds Lawrence Bender, E. Bennett Walsh, and Harvey Weinstein, quote, solely responsible for the years of secrecy surrounding the accident, which wasn't public knowledge. Quote, they lied, destroyed evidence, and continued to lie about the permanent harm they caused and then chose to suppress. Thurman continues, the cover-up did have malicious intent and shame on these three for all eternity. CAA never sent anyone to Mexico. I hope they look after other clients more respectfully if they in fact want to do the job for which they take money with any decency. I don't know, Kev, do you want to take a look at it?
Yeah, let's not watch it. I mean, it's
go over to her Instagram if you guys want to watch it.
I don't think it's like bad, but there's no reason to.
Okay. This is, I mean, there's just a lot of dark shit surrounding this all of the Harvey Weinstein and Miramax drama. She also, of course, it's worth noting that she gave an expose, I believe, to the New York Times, talking about what she went through with him, and it's pretty fucking dark.
Yeah.
So, Jesus Christ. That saga continues.
And in no shocking statement, Weinstein released a follow-up denying that he engaged in any sort of cover-up.
Of course. Yeah, his tactic so far has been deny, and sue. But I think there's a lot of overwhelming evidence that's pretty damning. Across the board. From a lot of people. Yeah. Not the least of which is Uma Thurman and Rose McGowan. Whew. Okay. Let's segue out of that into something a little bit more cerebral.
Yeah.
Segue. We're going to talk about the Cloverfield Paradox right now. I want to give a few spoiler-free impressions for the first few minutes here, and then we can talk about the actual plots, and we'll go into spoiler territory.
Okay.
Top level it for me. What did you think of this?
Top level. I liked it. I definitely think there's issues and plot holes with it. I think it's the weakest out of the trilogy so far by a long shot.
I would agree.
But the more that I've talked about it with people and the more that I've delved into the subreddit and stuff like that and read theories, which I think is the fun part about the entire Cloverfield universe.
Yeah, I think that's the whole point of it at this point, is that they're how deep can we go down this rabbit hole of viral marketing and and tie-ins to each movie?
Exactly.
Yeah.
The more I do all of that, the more that I like it. What I also like about it is that it's because it's so controversial and it's so there's not a whole lot of concrete evidence for anything. It's generating a lot of discussion, which I think is really fun.
Yeah.
So I think it's fine. I don't even know that I would say that it's good necessarily. I definitely want to watch it again with a little bit of a baseline. No.
No, I don't think I'm going to watch it again.
But
I think the movie does more good than bad. Mm-hmm. That's a weird way of saying that, I suppose. Yeah. I think it was a little hard for me to get through.
Okay.
The parts that I thought were really cool, I liked a lot of the sci-fi parts. I liked a lot of the weird Event Horizon style, almost borderline Evil Dead style shit that was happening.
It was very,
I thought that was really
Aliens,
cool. Yeah, there's a lot of there's a lot of weird shit that happens that I'm this is really, really cool. So everything on the space station I thought was great. Everything that was happening outside of that, I was I don't need any of this. This is really weird. And the movie ultimately felt cobbled together, which I think is its biggest, my biggest issue with the whole franchise. And that's what I'm worried about with the fourth movie, is I'm is this going to feel the same way where they clearly took a different movie that wasn't supposed to be Cloverfield and just started pushing all these things around.
That was 10 Cloverfield Lane too, though.
Yeah, but I think that did it in a way, and a lot of people gave it shit for that. Yeah. A lot of people gave it the Cloverfield tie into that. They said it was the weakest part, and I would agree with that.
But the story, I think, could stand alone without the Cloverfield influences, where I don't think this one does.
That story could have been anything.
Yeah.
That could have been anything. It's the enjoyment of that movie was largely based on the acting and the tension that the director was able to get through the great actors in it.
Because you have John Goodman.
Dude, you got John Goodman, you got Mary Elizabeth Winstead, you got the other guy whose name I can't remember.
Yeah.
And they were great. Mm-hmm. And that was, that's a perfect example of how you do one location and just set up that tension.
Yeah.
Very, very well. As to what happens after that could have been anything. It doesn't matter. So to me, a lot of people give the criticism of, hey, that movie was randomly cobbled, the tie-in with Cloverfield was randomly thrown in there.
Yeah.
I would argue that no matter what the quote-unquote payoff was, it wouldn't matter. It's all the same. It was going to feel cheap no matter what. So why not tie it in with it?
Yeah.
Tim did not like it. I thought it was fine. He didn't
like 10 Cloverfield Lane?
He didn't like the Cloverfield tie-in with it.
Okay.
That makes sense. I know we're talking in vague. We're spoiling the shit of Cloverfield Lane, but that movie's been out for a while now.
So you watched it in 2 parts,
I watched it in 2 parts, because I've been a little sick over the last couple of days, and one of us had to take a nap. halfway through. I had to put my old man PJs on and go take a nap. But I came back and watched it, and part of I'm disappointed for one is that I should have watched it all in one sitting because I was a bit like, wait a minute, am I just not understanding what's going on, or am I not paying attention close enough because I'm sick and I was sleeping through half this fucking movie?
Yeah.
I saw the whole movie, but I feel like watching it again with fresh eyes might not be a bad idea because I'm confused as to how they're getting a lot of this information and how they're drawing some of this stuff. Ultimately, though, I think that I got the gist of it, and I enjoyed it. I did. I think it's worth a watch. I also think it's worth noting that you got to get through the first 20 minutes of it before it really kicks in and you start getting some of the interesting sci-fi aspects of it.
Yeah.
So some cool stuff happens there. Okay, Kevin. Now we're gonna go into spoiler territory here.
I'm putting up spoilers, bro.
Put up the spoilers, bro.
Let me make it bigger. It's not big enough. There it is.
Got it?
Greedy Ears in the chat says, if it didn't have the Cloverfield name, I wouldn't have bothered. I think a lot of people wouldn't.
I agree. So much of it was trying to tie together Cloverfield things.
Well, this movie...
I don't know that it could have... obviously it could have existed without being Cloverfield, but I think it would have been even more bare bones.
Well, the issue, going into spoiler territory, I liked a lot of this.
Yeah.
I liked a lot of the weird, nuanced, horror sci-fi aspects of it. I love when the Scottish guy, that whole situation, I was like, this is kind of interesting and kooky and weird. I just didn't like a lot of the weird leaps in logic where they were like
what?
This is what's happening. And you're like, how do you know what's happening?
Some of it gets spelled out very clearly. It's
and they're just all the interdimensional stuff where they just kind of figure it out. You're like, I get that you're smarter than me, but
you're not that smart.
You're not that fucking smart, A. And B, obviously this is meant as sort of a focal point for the whole series, right?
Yeah.
This is sort of explaining how all the Cloverfield-esque things that are happening have occurred because of this experiment that they're doing up there. I don't think that's even a spoiler. I think that's pretty much that's in the description on IMDb. They're trying to solve an energy crisis.
That's how they were marketing it.
They use a very small hadron collider, a particle collider, which is weird, but I guess they were able to use that to make energy, and it causes this weird dimensional rift. I don't like that they shoehorned in that one scene where the guy's like, this could cause demonic creatures to come. How the fuck do you know that? That's weird.
Yeah, that was kind of weird. But did you know that the reporter that's interviewing him is played by the same actress of the woman from 10 Cloverfield Lane that was trying to get into the bunker?
I did not know that. Oh, okay, so this is happening
it
prior
hasn't
to that.
necessarily, they haven't, obviously, because nothing in Cloverfield is overtly stated. But they haven't said hey, it's the same person, but we don't necessarily know if it happens in the same... It obviously happens in the general Cloverfield universe, but in the same dimension could be questionable.
That's interesting. Point of clarification, people are saying Chris O'Dowd is Irish, not Scottish.
Oh.
Thank you for the clarification, everyone.
Also,
I appreciate that.
The guy that was interviewing, or the guy that was being interviewed doing all that stuff, his last name was Stambler, which in theory relates him to John Goodman's character in 10 Cloverfield Lane, whose last name is also Stambler.
That's all great and said and done, but what, halfway through this movie... This is the
stuff that I love about it, though. It's all these weird Easter egg things of there is some thought being put in on the back end of how to tie all this stuff together.
There is, and I like that, and I think that there's, but you can tell my biggest fear with this was that I was hoping they were able to do it cleverly where it felt organic, they had planned this, and it just doesn't feel organic. It feels, a lot of this feels shoehorned in, where they were you could tell they're watching the edit, and they're like, oh, if we just tweak this one little thing, we could plug this in, plug this in, plug this in.
Yeah.
And it doesn't feel like a cohesive whole. And that's my biggest problem.
Did you watch Lost?
I watched the first 3.5 seasons.
Did you like it?
I loved the first 2 seasons of Lost.
Got it.
Yeah, right when they went onto the boat, I was like, I'm done with this shit. Yeah. I love, don't get me wrong, I love the J.J. Abrams.
Because I think it is a J.J. Abrams kind of thing of Lost, I think, suffered from a lot of those same things of ooh, you're trying to get all these things to connect and you're not quite nailing it.
Lost suffered from the fact that Lost was a product of its own success. And the problem with that was they were like, wow, this is a really great series that needs to go on a lot longer. And I don't think that they, if memory serves me correctly, I don't think they had planned on it going 7 seasons.
I think they only had planned for 5.
Yeah, and so I think they were going to wrap that story up a lot sooner than that, and they were forced to sort of shoehorn in a lot of exterior storylines that didn't really necessarily, the others, all that stuff. I don't think they really wanted to flesh that out as much as they did. And to be honest, the show was at its best when a lot of the elements in it weren't explained.
Yeah.
You know, the first season of that show, the first 2 seasons of Lost are probably 2 of the best seasons of television ever made.
Yeah.
But then you start seeing the breakdown of the narrative thread as you start explaining some of these elements that you're like, I don't really need an explanation for that.
And I think that is a lot of the issues with Cloverfield too, of like, we don't necessarily need to know, or we don't need to have this guy explain like, oh, this thread could have aliens do it. It's like, that could just be a product that happens.
Well, once you broach the concept of, hey, we're playing with interdimensional like realities and time, by the way, which I think is really, really cool. And that's a cool concept that you don't think of, where you're like, if you're tearing open the thread of like space-time, you're dealing with like, you could be causing things to happen in other timelines, in other in history. And I think that's really, really cool, which is also how they're probably explaining.
Still spoilers?
Yes, Kevin. We're still, which is how we're, obviously they're going to explain away the concept of something happening in World War II. I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
And in that way it did work, and a lot of the horror elements and a lot of the sci-fi elements I felt did work. I just feel like it's a little too cobbled together for me, but I will give the next one a chance for sure. Cloverfield 4 will be getting a viewing, at least in my household.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens.
I liked it overall. I just like that. I think it's the ARG section of the Cloverfield universe, I think, is next level, and I don't think anyone's really put that much effort into something like this in regards to viral marketing.
Yeah.
Like, this stands out, and then like going back to like Blair Witch Project before we knew what it was. And the way that kind of happened, I think are the only ones that stand out to me.
Yeah, no, I mean, again, I think it's fun. I think it's cool. When they announced that they were doing this, I'm like, that's a really great idea. Because like, I forget who said it in the chat, but I would not have seen 10 Cloverfield Lane if it weren't called 10 Cloverfield Lane. If I didn't know there was going to be a loose tie-in with that, I don't think I would have seen it. I would not have watched this if it was just called The God Particle. I don't think I would have, because I just watched.
Oh yeah.
If it had kept its original title and it had nothing to do with the Cloverfield universe,
I probably wouldn't have either.
I don't know that I wouldn't have watched it, but I definitely wouldn't have watched it day one. It wouldn't have given me the same cachet. Yeah, I wouldn't have given it a shot. So on that front, I think that the campaign is working, which is great.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see what other people think of. Let us know what you guys think in the comments if you've watched the Cloverfield Paradox. We can take the spoilers off now. Cool, Greg. Let us know what you guys thought of it. Please try to remain spoiler-free in the comments so you don't spoil it for everyone. But, in a week from now, if you're watching this video a week from now, it's anyone's game. Straight shooter. Shooter McGavin. Cool. Let's see here. What do we have next, ladies and gents? Let's go into some tips. If you guys have given us a tip at the $5 above level, we will read that comment. If it's below that, we'll secretly not read it. I'll read it to myself.
Frog and Bullfish 89 says it still would have been big because it'd be another Netflix original movie, which is an interesting.
But it wasn't a Netflix original movie.
But Netflix.
It was a Netflix acquired movie.
There we go.
Yeah.
But still interesting of like when I think Netflix acquiring movies is still.
Oh no, I mean that's been a big deal for them. Obviously they're moving more toward original production. And we read a story a few weeks ago talking about Sundance and how both Netflix and Amazon they're pumping the brakes off of acquiring outside things as they're building their own production means internally.
Yeah.
So it's very, very interesting. Obviously they're going to need content like crazy.
Yeah.
Because they're a massive content delivery platform. So on that front, it's cool. But I don't know, like a lot of people are talking about Altered Carbon right now, and they're like, you got to give it a chance. And I'm like, I just have no desire to watch that series.
It sounds interesting. Yusuf and Jen were talking to me about it this weekend, and they both said that it's pretty good.
Well, I don't know. Maybe
but I just finished The Good Place, so I needed something that was a little bit lighter because I feel like I've been watching a lot of him.
What was The Good Place?
Kristen Bell and Ted Danson.
Oh, how was that?
It's really good.
That's not the one where she eats people, right?
No, that's
the Santa Clara.
Yeah, that's Drew Barrymore.
D-Rux87 has given us a nice tip and said, heading to SF for work and was hoping to catch Nick's set, but sounds like you were under the weather. Feel better. Also, Michelle Wolf is performing at Cobb's this weekend. Check out her HBO special. She is at Cobb's. That's awesome. Yes, I'm sorry. There's a couple people that reached out to me asking where I will be. I will be in bed. And by the way, no good performances happened there. So you're not missing much. Panzer G2 says, Nick and Joey, you guys are killing it. Be well.
Yeah. Thanks.
Thank you. Infinity Style says, Nick and Joey, salutations. Just wanted to pay my birthday tax. Enjoy your Tuesday and keep on rocking in the free world.
Happy birthday.
And Skizup has given us our final tip for today and says, fun clip, gave us a link, sound up, and shout out to both Cool Greg and Andy for their recent solo Twitch streams. Great for such a variety of entertainment from the whole crew. Cool Greg,
Yo.
Can I copy that into the thing? Let's watch this. I'm going to copy this right by tips, if you want to bring that up. While he's bringing that up, I will go in to read P.S. I Love This Best Friend XOXO. Actually, Joe, do you want to read it?
I'd love to read it.
Do you have it pulled up? You pulled these out. It's nice to have you on the show. You can pull it up.
So Mike G is shouting out the entire community, including the hosts. He said, I've been a longtime fan of the crew since the IGN days and followed them through the transition to Kinda Funny. Flash forward to the fall of 2016 where I was fired from my job and it sent me into an extreme depression bordering on suicide, and I spent 4 weeks in the hospital on suicide watch. Once I was out of the hospital, I started watching the live feeds of the videos daily, and I found that it was giving me an escape from the shit I was dealing with, and for the first time in a long time, I found myself smiling and laughing. Due to me being unemployed, I was unable to give back, but I still watched daily. It was there for me when it felt like so much of my life wasn't. Without getting too sappy, I continue to be on the mend. I am again employed, and last month I started to contribute to the Kinda Funny Games Patreon, and I subscribed to Twitch. If there was another way I could give back what you have given me, I would. So thank you to the Kinda Funny crew and to the community. I hope that one of these years I'll be able to make it down to San Fran for a Kinda Funny meetup, or if there's one in my hometown, Van City, which I think is Vancouver.
I believe so.
I'll be there. All the best, Mike G. That was like a very heartfelt.
Yeah, that was.
P.S. I Love This Best Friend.
Here's how you can give back, Mike G, by being well.
Yes.
That's what we want to see. That's what we're all here for. We are here to help each other out with that. So the fact that you are doing better makes me happy. Keep on keeping on, my friend.
Love.
All right, speaking of positive, fun thoughts getting put out there, It's giveaway time.
So exciting.
Joe, tell people how they can win.
You have
I like putting you on the spot. Here's quiz time. Do you remember how this works?
Remember this?
It's only 4 ways.
There's 4 ways.
I mess it up every day, so don't feel too
okay, I feel
bad.
a little bit better. You can be watching live on Twitch right now, or if you're watching this on YouTube, you could watch at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Boom.
There's one.
Let's go,
2, you could be a subscriber on twitch.tv/kindafunnygames. So even if you can't watch, you could use your Amazon Prime money, get these cool emotes, get private chat time with us, all that fun stuff.
When we play games, you'll play games with us.
This is true. Number 3 is you could be a subscriber at the $2 above tier on Kinda Funny's regular Patreon. That's not the right word, but
I say patreon.com/
yeah,
I say Kinda Funny Prime. That's fine.
Okay, that works. Or you could be a $2 or above patron on Kinda Funny Games.
Good job. Right. Excellent job.
Not as eloquent as I would have liked, but
we're not eloquent here. We're not known for our eloquence. Today's winner comes from the Kinda Funny Patreon. Congratulations, Cala Del Giorno. You have won Ultimate Chicken Horse on PS4. Thank you for your support. We appreciate you. Everyone who did not win, there's always tomorrow. Before we go into subscribers, Cool Greg, let's pull up this fun clip from Jamie and see if it's in fact fun. If not, Jamie, your privileges have been revoked.
Got it.
Go. All right. I needed this today. Not laugh out loud fun, but definitely smile inducing.
Yeah. It gets better.
All right.
That was a solid fun clip.
That was a solid fun clip. Thank you for that.
I don't know that Jamie's ever gonna outdo herself with Free Chicavitos, though.
Free Chicavitos is
that might be your
some would say
is
the fun clip of 2018.
I'm pretty sure Kevin just walked in with a bowl of queso.
Of course
and
he did.
Bowl of salsa.
Of course he did. God bless him for that.
And chips now.
Let's go into the old 3 and 3. Ladies and gentlemen, we will take some comments, questions, compliments, concerns from the non-subscribers, and then we will go into the people we love just a little bit better, the subscribers.
Ooh, DH Canada says, can we get a Cool Greg effect about The Bachelor? Cool Greg, do you want to tell us about watching The Bachelor last night?
Cool Greg, get in here and tell us about The Bachelor. Kevin, roll the Cool Greg graphic.
We don't have one.
Thanks, Kev.
Perfect.
Cien, she's from California. She seemed really cool. I'm voting for her to win. Tia was cool. And then I didn't like the ones that left. I didn't like them at all.
So you're okay with them leaving?
Riddance. Yeah.
How did you feel about drinking rosé last night?
Oh, yeah, that was fun too. You know, always drinking with them is a great time.
I love it. Why did you guys start talking about taxidermy?
It's weird.
Tim was just telling me what some of the ladies were into.
Oh, got it.
Taxidermy is an odd choice for a bachelorette, but why not?
I mean, whatever you're into.
We do have a few cheers. I think it's worth mentioning. Throw7 has given us 500 cheers. It says 15 seconds of Joey discussing Persona, or we riot. Will Tron has given us cheers and said, 5 minutes of Persona. Voltron also gave us another cheer and says, bag of queso, and then throws 7 in his back and said, you can ignore all of our bits, but we still demand 15 seconds of Persona with Joey. Guys, listen.
Bag of queso. Bag of queso.
That's a weird
I said this before, I'll say it again. I wish we could do more with this show. I do. I don't know who produces this show.
You do.
But that person always just tells me we simply don't have time for more sports or more Persona. If you want sports, follow Andy on Twitter. If you want Persona news, watch Kind of Funny Games Daily today. I'm pretty sure Andrea Renee's in it. You know why I know that? Because in my peripheral vision, she's just shaking her head. She's just going like this.
But Andrea doesn't
talk about Persona.
Andrea doesn't play Persona.
I don't play Persona.
Nobody plays Persona, apparently.
In
Apparently, it's not a popular game.
Plays.
I play Persona, but Nick won't let me talk about Persona.
She also makes
I'm at the
subtitles
end
of games like
Mementos.
Stardew Valley and weird shit like that.
I'm at the end of Mementos, and I keep
Bag
getting my ass
of
kicked.
queso. Bag of queso.
I don't like this cheer.
All right, let's go into
Seems
sub
unnecessary.
mode. Let's go into actually take a couple more questions from non-subs and we'll go into sub mode.
Let's see. We do read cheers. There's a lot of people that are. I can't tell if the bag of queso chat is outweighing the Persona chat or if it's
I think
vice
it really
versa.
is.
Bag of
I really
queso.
think it is.
Just
Bag of
really,
queso.
it's so hard.
So
Not the
good.
Lysander at work is halfway through the third palace, 40
That doesn't
hours
make
in.
sense. Nobody knows
Took
what
a while,
that
but this game is finally has its hooks on me. It gets you. It gets you.
TARDIS
Just like
Blue says
Bag of
Gary
Queso.
Whitta plays Persona.
It's true.
Well, that legitimizes it apparently. 30 seconds of Sporsona. Andy and Joey just yelling over each other. That I would actually allow. That's we have
To
time
see
for that.
who can get them.
To see who can get-
more words in about it.
Let's go into sub-only mode right
Okay.
now. Did you guys see The Rock responding to Gary Whitta's tweet? No, I did not.
I did see it.
Said Mystery Asman 300. What did he say?
It was talking about, Gary tweeted out about how the new movie that's not Rampage that I thought
Skyscraper.
was Skyscraper, about how in their, The Rock has a prosthetic leg, which I didn't know because I haven't watched the trailer,
Oh.
but how he thought it was really cool that The Rock didn't see that as like a sign of weakness and is like, being like a strong character with
that's
a
cool.
disability, and The Rock retweeted it and they had like a little chat back and forth about things.
That's lovely.
Yeah, right?
That's lovely.
Super cool.
I like when our two friends get along.
Two friends.
Download Gamer says, should I get Monster Hunter World? ?
I only play Persona.
Yes, 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 yes.
We have a message from the peanut gallery back there, and they say
Bag
yes.
of queso. Bag of queso.
Astroth17 says, Nick, did you ever get around to watching Legion? I did not. Zuck T says, I'm like 62 hours in. Makoto is wife and Fubuta is our adopted child.
Futaba.
Which one of us sounds sillier now?
Mine's right.
Which one of us sounds sillier now?
Lexi Gunner wants to know if there's an update on the Kinda Honey GOG. We're actually meeting up tomorrow to figure out schedules. So hopefully soon.
Falcon1282 says, Nick, have you heard of Eliza Schlesinger? Seeing her stand up in SF on February 23rd. I have her. I think she's just going by Eliza now. But yeah, she's really fucking funny. I think Alexis got to hang out with her. Alexis Pence got to hang out with her and do some work. Panzer G2 says, Nick, Future Man on Hulu was made personally for you. You need to watch it. I'll give it a chance. Bag of Persona. Nope. Ignacio Rojas says, Nick, when are you watching S.H.I.E.L.D.? Ignacio, I've watched S.H.I.E.L.D. And I've done, let me break this down for you
Wait, like the
guys.
Ryan Reynolds shield? No, that was not.
No,
that
the
was,
show S.H.I.E.L.D.
I was thinking
You're thinking R.I.P..
Yeah, there we go.
Oh, I did watch that.
How was that? Let's talk about that.
I want to hear about that.
I remember liking it, but I remember it being really, it's like a Men in Black, but if Men in Black were, it's kind of a rip-off of Men in Black.
Yeah.
People always say, watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., you gotta give it another chance. Here's the deal to me. I'm
Another
not gonna
chance?
watch a show for like 3 seasons in order for it to, quote, get good.
Yeah.
No. There's too much good TV out right now. There's too much great content out there. You gotta up your game, TV. You gotta lose yourself in the music.
Twitch shit, right?
You know what I mean? All sorts of Twitch shit.
All sorts of shit.
8man0208 says, Nick, thoughts on Floyd Mayweather teasing a move to UFC? That will never happen. That will literally never happen. There is no way Floyd Mayweather steps into a UFC octagon because he will get destroyed. And that man is worth way too much money and has taken actually not a lot of damage in boxing. He's been way too smart about not taking damage to want to walk in and get taken down and pounded. Not going to happen.
Interesting. R.I.P.D. is the movie.
Yeah.
Yes. I did watch that. Nick, it gets good in season 1 when the events of Winter Soldier happen. Again, that's like halfway through. That's hours of my life I have to waste until it gets good. And then when does it get good again after that? It doesn't.
Doesn't S.H.I.E.L.D. stop happening after?
No, there's a whole Hydra shit. Don't ask questions, Tim.
That seems like a lot.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be it for us today. Thank you so much for joining us. Joey, thanks for joining us.
Thanks.
Cool, great, Kevin. Awesome as always. Thank you for crunching back there. All you people out in the audience, make sure you get your own metaphorical or literal bag of queso today, whatever makes you happy, because I'm happy to be here with you. Thank you so much for your support. Joey's going to be back in a few seconds to read subscribers. I'm going to go blow my nose, and after that, Kinda Funny Games Daily returns with Tim and Andrea, and then will they talk about Persona 5? No, probably not, because it's a game that no one's playing now.
That's so not even true. So many people are playing Persona 5. I'm playing. Gary Whitta just started playing. Jonathan Dornbush is playing. Alana is playing.
Oh, Jonathan Dornbush is playing.
Yeah.
The Bush? The Dornbush?
Call him
The Boy Wonder.
The Boy Wonder of News.
I call him the Bush.
No, you don't.
I don't like
Like
that.
the burning bush.
No, you don't.
It's biblical.
Just look for why.
It's biblical.
It's biblical.
That's exactly what you think.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Thank you for letting me make fun of your Persona addiction. I love you very much. I'll be back tomorrow, 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Until then, Joey will read your name, maybe, if you subscribe, if you're a good boy or girl. I
Shout
love
out
you.
to Hyphen.
Kevin, cut the feed.